And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the H.4.0.S Open Cup number 10. I'm of course ZvP, and with me, I'm joined by my lack of food and by these amazing players and people in the chat. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our second broadcast of the day. We just wrapped up with the Kung Fu Cup. And now we have returned with a Polish-only event. A Polish-only bi-weekly tournament. This did go on a hiatus, did go on a break because of EPT Spring and because of all these other events going on, but now it has returned, and now we're back in full swing. We're back in action, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkion, we have our Red Zerg player representing Platinum Esports from the land of Bologna. It is Aristori. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the purple Protoss player, also from the land of Poland, representing Platinum Esports as well, as this is a team kill. It is Rodzyn. Here we go. Our Protoss versus Zerg is upon us. We're back with some more StarCraft! Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We will go over the bracket in due time. Once we wrap up with this series, we will go over said bracket. We can go over the matches, go over the favorites, and even some of the results that are coming on in as well. As we have a fresh series. Shout out to Indy. He was casting the other match earlier. He was covering Trifax versus Mishu in a Terran versus Zerg. It was a long game. It was on side Delta when the distance went to the late game. And in the end, Trifax did come out on top 2-0 and did eliminate Mishu from the tournament. As a reminder, this is single elimination bracket. Winner advances on, loser is eliminated from the tournament, so it is very cutthroat, very much so, as typically is the case with a lot of these online events. Very rarely is there a lower bracket, and we are settling on in. For now, it's going to be a gate expand into Cybercore standard opener here out of Rodzyn. Meanwhile, Aristori going for a Hatchcast pool standard opener as well. Nothing too crazy yet, but we're waiting to really spice things up here once we get into our 2-base setup, once we get into our tech of choice. Based on the Platinum placement, this could be a Twilight Council opener. We'll see if it's Twilight Council or Stargate. I say Twilight Council just because the pylon is throwing down a little bit closer to the chest here, a little bit closer to the gas geyser, but we could just be as efficient as possible just to, you know, minimize the time it takes for the probe to go back and forth. And there it is. Stargate is the answer for Rodzyn. Is going to be a Stargate opener. With this, we can go into our initial oracles, we can harass. This could be the beginning of a Void Ray opener. Just because it's a little bit further back here is a little bit suspect, so a Void Ray would not be a bad option for Rodzyn, just to try to shut down the Overlords, just to try to hide the eventual follow-up transition here, the follow-up tech. Rodzyn has options. He has options with the Void Ray or just Oracle. For now, there, Aristori getting into his third, droning up his natural base, moving at his queens, droning as best he can, and getting ready for the eventual aggression of the Protoss. And we have our answer of choice. We have our tech of choice, Oracle. We have our Oracle first here from Rodzyn. Looks like we're rallying towards the natural, and we're going to be moving out to harass across the map. We're fully walling up here. We're not going for the Void Ray. This looks like just like a standard triple Oracle into a third base here. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy from the side of Rodzyn, not yet. Meanwhile, likewise, Aristori happily joining up, getting his third base, spreading his Overlord, spreading his creep, and getting ready for the eventual Oracle harass. As the first Oracle has arrived. We have two queens here at the natural with the Spore. We have one queen in the main, soon to be two queens though. The third base is a little bit more exposed, but there's nothing to really mine, or there's nothing to really kill there at the third. No workers to pick up. So it is going to be okay to keep a little bit more exposed there. As Rodzyn is going to be chilling back at home. He's going to be amassing his oracles as we speak. Lings, they try to dip in, but for the most part, we're able to fend off these Lings. Probe is kept safe and sound. And we're going to be moving out once we hit that second Oracle count. The second Oracle is on the horizon, about to pop. These things are being a nuisance, but no real damage dealt here. Rodzyn is holding. Does defend. How many Protosses in Poland? There's at least 20. So yeah, it's the majority Protoss. When it comes to Terran, there's Spirits, there's Mishu, there's Ziggy, but Ziggy's in Korea, right? I think Ziggy's in Korea at the moment. So Ziggy has since left Poland. Smooge. Meanwhile, the double Oracle does get across the map, does get a couple of drones here at the natural, not bad. 2-3 drones going to be going down. Meanwhile, we rotate over, Adepts shade in towards the fourth base, sorry, towards the third, getting an extra drone. 5 workers in total, not a bad trade as we get another 3 here at the natural. Oh my god. 8 drones go down, both Oracles, they make it out. Sure, we bleed out some of these Adepts, but that is more than worth it here for Rodzyn. He does trigger a big counterattack. That's a lot of Lings, but we have plenty of Oracles to defend to protect that third. Lings, they push in. They're going for a forced cancel. That is going to be a cancel in the gateway. But Rodzyn does defend. Meanwhile, Aristori back at home, going for a fourth. Going for his Evo Chambers. Roach Warren was already thrown down, and it looks like we want to play into Roach Ravager. Just applying some more pressure here. I mean, forcing a couple of cancels here and there, but it has cost us only a handful of Lings. Not too bad. Ooh, also, I assumed it was going to be Roach Ravager now that the Roach Warren was done, but no, we're rushing into a Hydra Den. It looks like the Roach Warren was just for safety in case we did need it. I say that we are investing into Roach Speed alongside that Hydra Den, so a little bit more old school. Aristori, it looks like he wants to go Roach Hydra. Okay. I mean, it can work. Don't get me wrong, it can definitely work here, but it is quite an expensive army. It's quite a gas-intensive army here, so we're taking most of our gases. Yet to take the gas in the main base, fourth as well, and it's going to be quite expensive to get into. See how hard we can commit. Assuming we make Roaches, like, we might just be getting Roach Speed just for safety, and we might just be going Ling Hydra. Straight up. Which would be a more efficient composition. Protoss land, yes. That's what the country's called. As Lings dip in. Do shave off a good chunk of them though. Meanwhile, Rodzyn headed towards that fourth. Oh, the spore isn't done. The queens are out of position, and the drones are left exposed. The Oracles, they go ham. They catch how many? 4 or 5 drones go down. Did I say 5? We got 6, we got 7, and we do manage to escape as well. This is some good damage dealt here by Rodzyn, getting 15 drones in total for 3 Adepts. Oh no. I understand Queen maybe talking about the Queens being out of position, or maybe mishooking Queens. I'm gonna need a Google Translate for that. Meanwhile, the Stalkers, they have arrived. The Hydras are in position in time though. Aristori does defend. Does hold, does defend. Meanwhile, behind this, we're rushing in towards Lurkers, and a Hive. Let's go. But can we make it to Hive Tech? Can we survive that long? I mean, so far the Ling Hydra's holding on, especially because Rodzyn is not going for an all-in. Good stasis on the Lings. Oh my god, and we do deny the goal base. Behind this, Rodzyn getting his 4th base up running. We're working towards Storm, Charge, +2. Which means Aristori will get his Lurkers. Aristori will get his Lurkers up and running. There we go, 4 Lurkers on the way. The reason why I say this is because Rodzyn is teching. Rodzyn is not applying as much pressure as they otherwise could. Just focusing on taking up instead. But we do see a mass amount of charges working towards the third, or towards the natural even. The Queen is going to go down. Oh, it's a brutal choke one here. The Lings are getting annihilated. Stalkers at the same time push in, but the Lurkers are in position. But these Zealots, they're getting out of control. They're busting into the natural. Yeah, again, a really good choke point here for these Zealots. They buy so much time and we bust into the mineral line. Drones are going down in the natural. Drones are going down here at the main base. At the same time, Stalkers push in. We do get a revelation. The Lurkers do barely hold the line. We were able to get 1 Lurker. And throughout all of this, what do we have? Sky Toss carrier production is on the way. Oh my god. We already have Storm as well. Do we have any High Templar? We do have 4 High Templar back at home at the 4th. Going to attempt to expand and take that gold once again, the 5th. It is spotted. It is going to be denied. Oh, we do have the cancel in time. Oh, big stasis here on 2 of those Lurkers. But with the mass amount of Hydras, we finally force back the main army. We can finally expand. But the reality is that Rodzyn is miles ahead. He's got 92... Too many probes. He's on 92 workers. He has Sky Toss, 3rd Stargates on the way. We're making 2 carriers at a time, soon to be 3. We have High Templar, we have Storm, we have Archons. Rodzyn, he's massing up a death bull of an army now. He has to be careful to throw away his lead. He is pushing out before he has critical mass of carrier, so he does have to be careful. Runs into lurkers. Zealots push in towards the left. Can they catch some lings? But Rodzyn, the name of the game here is to defend until we can mass up a good amount of carriers. To play things safe while we can. Meanwhile, Aristori, trying to establish an economy, has been quite far behind here when it comes to set economy because they lost so many drones. Has a decent lurker count, has a Spire on the way that's going to be for Corruptors. But for now, Hydra Lurker is all we have. I believe we have no Vipers. Yeah, 0 Vipers here. We snipe one of the Lurkers already. We do have a lot of Storms. Carriers are revealed. Storm zones away the Hydras for now. Meanwhile, Aristori going for a big counterattack. And we don't have much at home to defend. We have some carriers here at the 4th base that we can rotate towards the natural. But this is going to be a pretty big attack here. Zealot Runback comes in. Oh, we get into the mineral line. Lurkers are exposed. The decent Storms, but not many Hydras to really take advantage of. Meanwhile, the Lurkers are getting to the bases. Yeah, big counterattack here. Rodzyn has to respond. We have Lurkers at the 3rd base. We have Lurkers and Hydras in the natural. We deny +1. We're racing back, and Rodzyn, he's hurting right now. He has a massive bank, but he has to spend his money. He has to spend his resources. Oh, we do not have detection. The Hydra's busting into the main base, and can we just end the game here and now, by the way? The Oracle does pop out. Just barely, which means we have 1 revelation, but there are so many lurkers. Oh god, the High Templar, they're struggling here. We get 1 revelation up. We get 30 probe kills, and just like that, Aristori, he's droning up. Just like that, Aristori is droning. He's chilling back at home. He's having a very comfortable time in his own bases. Lurker still wreaking havoc. We finally get another revelation up. There's still 1 lurker left here in the natural. The robot was killed, so no observers. Ooh. Yeah, finally the final lurker goes down, and Aristori, he's droning up to 81. He's getting a decent economy. He's massing up his lurkers. He's working towards his +3 upgrades. We have even Corruptor upgrades on the way as well. I believe still no Vipers. No, never mind. We have 3 Vipers. We're here at the 3rd. We finally have Vipers as well. Aristori was at death's door. Rodzyn had this game in the bag, and it still has a lead. But now Aristori has a chance. Aristori does have a chance. Lings, they collapse here on that cyber core. We need 5 more seconds. Oh, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, and +1 is denied. The upgrade is denied. Brutal there. As Rodzyn, he's stuck on 0-0. But here comes the carriers. Here come the Storms. But without detection, what can this really do? Do we have an observer yet? We have 1. We have 1 observer. Just now popped out. We get the yoink! We get 1 carrier, now a 2nd, a 3rd carrier as well. Can we get all 3? We get 2. Feedback's a little bit too late. And Rodzyn, it's slipping through his fingers. It's slipping away here. The game, I mean. He is still making more carriers, and he still has plenty of High Templar left over, but any kind of momentum that he had isn't really there anymore. Now, Aristori can still work with better upgrades, and could do with another hatchery, which will not be up and running for too much longer with the Zealot run by being set up. We'll see if we can deny that hatchery. We're working on +1, soon to be +2. I would love to see a 2nd Spire for double upgrades, and for a Greater Spire as well. I do think that's kind of a big thing missing here for Aristori. Just even double Spire for double upgrades. As we do have the money for it. Meanwhile, charge once they push in. They get on top of the hatchery. Oh, the lurkers are caught out as well on their own. Aristori bleeding out a big chunk of his army. And that's a kill, not a cancel. Big storms on the Hydras. Oh my god, we do take down most of the High Templar, but they did their job. They got their storms off. But we don't push in. We definitely could have. Again, there's 2 lurkers here, barely any Hydras. But we have Corruptor. You have to respect the Corruptors here. 6 Ultras on the way. Ultras are going to be coming in. The army's still building up. Replacing those High Templar. We're on how many? 2 High Templar with the main army. Rodzyn is maxed. Oh. No! As I was a little bit scared it was me, but it looks like we have a player lagging out. Aristori having some okay. I have to type that. Aristori having some latency issues here, and hopefully everything is okay. If he lags out, then we can of course resume from replay. It's all good. Thankfully there's no fight happening. Like both armies have pulled back from each other, so there's no big fight happening at the moment. It is going to be okay, and yeah, we can always resume. So we should be able to recover this if Aristori does fall. Or does time out. It's gonna be okay. I mean, assuming that we come back with our internet, hopefully there's no like blackouts in the area. That's happened before, where there's like a thunderstorm and there's like a blackout or something. That would be a really unfortunate way to end the tournament run, is if there is something like that, as we are going to be timing out, and we will hopefully get this game back up and running. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, man. So we will lie in wait and see if Aristori is able to join us. Meanwhile, we can quickly go over the bracket itself. Exclamation mark B in the chat. Be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Whew. Okay, and if you remember, both armies did kind of back off from each other. We have Rodzyn pulling back here towards his center gold. Meanwhile, Zelramba is making his way towards the hatchery, and this hatchery is not going to get up and running. We should be able to deny it. Ultras have arrived. They knocked down the roach ward, so we can actually push through. And the Zealots should be collapsing on the hatchery here. We can see Rodzyn's main army moving out. There we go. We get a surround, and that's going to be a kill on the hatchery. Meanwhile, the High Templar looking exposed. The Ultras are coming in. We're diving on top of those High Templar, forcing out some storms. We force the recall as well. We bleed out the High Templar and the Archons, but the carriers, they survive. They do make it out. That's still a lot of Ultra, and we're committed. Yeah, there's no turning back, not anymore. We go for the Parabomb on the carrier. We stack on top of the Parabomb, killing most of the Interceptors. And it looks like Aristori, does he have enough? Oh, there's still a lot of Interceptors left who didn't quite stack well on that Parabomb. And the carriers hold. And the stacking was a little bit lackluster. I mean, we couldn't quite stack because of the Archons, to be fair. So, to be fair, we had to stay spread. Rodzyn does hold. Holds onto the go base. That was actually a pretty big win for him. Aristori doesn't have much of a bank. He's rebuilding, yes, but he has no gas. Aristori is out of gas. We have 11 more Corruptors on the way. Meanwhile, Rodzyn rotating around, threatening a push. Rodzyn a little bit out of position, bearing in mind recall is on cooldown. And we could end up in a weird base trade. Yeah, as the army heads towards the natural. At the same time, Rodzyn, do we commit? Do we have a recall? We do not. We do not. We're turning back around, racing back home. We don't go for the base trade. And we came with the production. Stargate's going to be going down. Fleet Beacon going to be going down as well. Rodzyn completely out of position. He's racing back home. Bleeds out his Stargates. Lurker siege up as well. Corruptors, if we do catch some of these Void Rays, we go when we get 2. 2 Void Rays go down. But we have control of the main base, and everything is going to be shut down here. Every single Stargate as well. We have to rebuild from scratch. More Stargates on the way. And we're going to try and pick up a carrier. Oh, we got one. We get a carrier as well. And back at home, Aristori, he's remaxing with Ultra. Okay. More Ultras on the horizon. Going for the Nexus. Not going to get it, as it is going to be forced back. Lurkers moving down to low ground. Do we have an observer? We do have an observer. Oh, no, with the main army. Observer, we need to. I mean, there's not that many lurkers, to be fair. As the natural goes down, the main goes down. Rotate on over. At the same time, we are going to be getting damage done elsewhere. Wait, do we have drones with the main army? What just happened? Oh, here. Okay. It's like, where did all the drones die? What the hell? There we go. Zealot run by coming in. We do have some lurkers at home to defend, but the Zealots do make it into the main. Aristori racing back home. Aristori sending everything back here into his main. Cleans up the army. Cleans up the Zealot run by. And Aristori is still in a solid position here with his army. He is maxed out. Rodzyn is hurting. Has potential with the storms is what I will say, but that's where the ultras come in. How many ultras do we have? We have 8 ultras. And if the ultras lead the charge, they can get on top of the High Templar. We have lurkers threading the mineral lines here for both the left and right hand bases. The 3rd and the 5th. And here we go, we're pushing in. Yeah, the Ultras, they shut down the site defense. Once again, the goal here is to get on top of the High Templar. We force out some of the storms, but still that's a little High Templar left over. The army is pushing forward. Meanwhile, we just rotate back around. We deny a base. Lurker gets cleaned up. Rodzyn is down to 24 probes. Barely an economy. He's making and trying to amass up Void Rays, which will help against the Corruptors. We're going in. Oh, look. Do we think about it? Catch a carrier. Again, the Ling Ultra has a little potential here where we have 3 more Ultras in production. Taking more bases. Southern base is going to go down to these Zealots. Do catch a hatchery. Hatchery going to go down. But Aristori still has an economy, which is more than I can say for Rodzyn, where he's on, I say 1 base. He's, you know, 2 half bases put together. 1 base economy, kind of. We're there. Now, the main army of Rodzyn can still win a fight. Aristori should be able to rebuild somewhat from that. I say somewhat because he's still lacking gases here. We'll do well taking additional gases. There we go. Aristori now expanding, taking his gases towards the north, taking another base. Ling Rambai comes in. Just ensuring that Rodzyn's economy just stays low. Making sure they cannot recover. And more probes going down. 8 workers in total. I do think that Aristori is missing an opportunity. Like, there was a time here when Aristori was up like 50 army supply. Now he's only up 20. This is becoming concerning here. This army from Rodzyn, it is building back up. And it doesn't take much here. It's not just to win a fight, but to snowball out of control and just knock down bases from there. So this is actually still becoming quite close. Aristori had a good lead, but not anymore, as we're taking another base, by the way. Also, my apologies. Best of 3. But the Nexus is slowly going to get up and running. We're pushing up the ramp. Lurkers are going down. Good positioning here with the Archons and show us the Storms. Oh, good feedback. Decent Storms. The Ultras are going to be going down. We dive on the army. But we have the Prismatic alignment here. Aristori gets forced all the way back, and Rodzyn, he's breaking through. And he still has plenty of High Templar here on the ground. He's at 4 High Templar. And Aristori, he can't engage. He cannot fight this right now. He has to back off. He has to retreat. He has to try to rebuild. I say try again. Aristori, he hasn't saturated his... He needs the gas. He needs gas right now. Aye. Without it, Aristori, he can't actually build much. We're making more Ultras. Celerambai comes in. Base is going to be going down, and Rodzyn, has he done it, by the way? We do have a big link counterattack. We have Zealots back at him to defend. Still has not saturated the gases. Aristori supply blocked. We're going to be recalling. We do recall back home for a moment. We the Lings, they're going to be able to get away. Recalling does buy time, though. Lings, they're cleaning up what little was left. Gas is still not fully saturated. Aristori, but without it, he's trying to remax. His supply block has to rebuild his overlords. Now, if Rodzyn gives Aristori time, then Aristori, he can mass up another comparable army. So right now, Rodzyn, he's on a timer right now, I feel. I mean, it kind of goes both ways. Where Rodzyn also has a fresh mining base here. Archons are getting caught out. Big catch for Aristori. Taking down an Archon, but doesn't quite get the rest. Rodzyn taking another base. Uh-oh. So Rodzyn is taking bottom right. Meanwhile, Aristori taking top left. These are the rich Vespene gas geyser base as well. We do have the rich Vespene gas geysers. And this is helping Aristori, like, sustain himself. It's helping. Do we have any spellcasters? We have one Viper. We have one Viper here for Aristori. Rodzyn should be aware of these. Yeah, he's aware of the mining bases. Ling Rumbai comes in once again. We're out of position. Rodzyn, no side defense. Does warp in some Zealots, which will help, but 7 probes go down. Once again, no side defense here either. I'm getting deja vu to what happened earlier when Aristori was miles behind, and then he clawed his way back in. With some good harassment here. Aristori, he can try to cripple the economy once again. Like, Rodzyn he's having a hard time keeping up. As I say that, do you have a Zealot run by here at the fresh mining base? Void Rays. Oh, I have to be careful not to engage without the support. Good Storm of the Lings. Zealots are cleaned up by the Lurkers. Like, a big fight like this is what Rodzyn wants. Rodzyn, he wants a big fight. These run-bys and counterattacks is what he struggles against. Meanwhile, the High Templar get caught out. We get 1, we get 2. 2 High Templar, 3 High Templar fall. We get 1 final Storm. But a lot of High Templar went down. The Void Rays, they activate their Prismatic Alignment, and the Void Rays, they reign supreme. The Mass Void Ray breaks through all the Corruptors. And Rodzyn, he has done it. He breaks through the army. Again, there was no power bomb. There were no spells that could be used. We had a feedback to start the fight. And without power bombs or without anything to support other than Corruptor, the Void Rays, they snowball out of control. Rodzyn now pushing in towards the natural. We're going for a desperation run by here. The goal is to force Rodzyn to recall, and hopefully we don't. We keep pushing, Papi, keep pushing. So we have Lings splitting up towards all the bases. Probes are going down. And there it is. GG gets called. Rodzyn will take game number 1. Oof. GG. GG, well played. Rodzyn, he will take it in the end here. Again, he was looking for that fight. He wanted a head-on engagement, and in the end, Aristori gave him what he wanted. Whew. And with that, GG. Rodzyn takes a lead. Does take a lead here. Oh. And yeah, with that, we'll see where this takes us. Oh, don't want to get left behind. We'll see where this does take us here, as this was a pretty close game. Again, Rodzyn for the most part was in control of this game, but there were really big moments where Aristori was able to strip that away from Rodzyn with his counterattacking, whether it was his lurker counterattacks, his ultra counterattacks, his ling run bys as well. There were some nice moments there for Aristori. But again, the death ball of the army was something that Aristori could never quite deal with. Unfortunately, he was lacking, especially in gases. We were pointing out, like, he never saturated his gases at his linear third base. Never took those gases, which was a pretty big deal, to be honest. If he saturated them at any point, then we could have sustained ourselves. We could have maxed out. Regardless, GG, well played. And now we're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have our Polish Protoss player, the purple Protoss representing Platinum Esports. It is Rodzyn. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player representing Platinum Esports, as well as their teammates down in this series. Can he bounce back? It is Aristori. We go. Meanwhile, the semi-finalists are getting ready for us. We do have Cristiano taking down Trifax 2-0. Cristiano, he's waiting for the win of the series. Likewise, Papi is still waiting in the lower semi-finals as well. And it looks like he's going to be waiting for quite some time. Looks like the lower half of the bracket is a little bit more delayed. So we might just be able to follow this series into the semis. Might just be able to follow it. So for now, we do have our hatch gas pool standard opener out of Aristori. Meanwhile, Rodzyn going for a gate expand. Nothing too crazy. It's pretty standard setups here so far. I was just hydrating, buddy. Just hydrating. Ugh. Okay, here we go. So as we settle in, I'm curious how Rodzyn's going to approach this. If you remember, initially in game 1, it was like 30 minutes ago, but it's a long time ago. But in game number 1, we did see Rodzyn pull Aristori apart with Oracle Harass, with Oracle and Adept Harass. He got an insane amount of damage done, so there's no reason to deviate away from that. And once again, there's that Stargate, looking to be another Oracle opener. Ooh, meanwhile, Aristori taking the center base. Okay, so on the one hand, Rodzyn, yes, is opening up Oracle for a third base to harass across the map to get some drone damage, but Aristori has taken the center, the forward hatchery, with the rich Vespene Gas Geyser. Now with this base, this can lead into an all-in. It's a really good kind of launch pad to spread creep across the map towards your opponent's natural base, and of course take advantage of the Gas Geyser to go for a Roach-based all-in, usually with Queens as well. You can just go for a Queen Roach walk across the map, you can go for Drop Lords and a Lair, you have options. Assuming Aristori does want to take advantage of this base and wants to, be aggressive, which I assume he does. Especially after a longer game like that. Meanwhile, we do see Rodzyn already mining through these minerals, looking to gain access to this safe linear third base. This safe is quite difficult to punish here, as we have rocks. We have rocks here, as well as minerals that we have to mine through to actually gain access to this area. Or I guess drop play can definitely abuse this, but in a ZvP without a Nidus Worm or without knocking down these rocks, the base is pretty safe. So a very safe third base here for Rodzyn. see how Aristori will approach this. For now, just happily droning. Oracle does arrive. Gets eyes on the third. There we go. We're rushing to that gas geyser, as we mentioned. A very valuable gas geyser here at the center base. Meanwhile, we're going for a fast Twilight Council. Okay, so we're going for the third base. I believe we cut Oracle production. Okay, yes. Only 2 Oracles straight into the tech, into the Twilight Council, Forge, and Robo. So Rodzyn isn't going to be as aggressive this time. And he hasn't actually gotten any drone kills either. He's been a lot less active with these Oracles. Hasn't been active at all with the depths. He's been skipping warp ins. There's that Roach Warren on the way. Sub 5 minutes. Oracles get 1 drone in the main, but only 1. And Aristori, he's building up. He's building up here towards his Roach-based army. Oracles try to dip in. We get a drone, we get 2, we get, oh, 3! 3 workers go down. Meanwhile, I do like his composition out of Rodzyn. He's working towards Charge Loss Archon. Charge Loss and Archon's going to be amassing. I would hope to see Immortal production as well. For now, War Prism's on the way. And we'll see how this fares here against what Aristori is working with, because we're cutting workers at 58. Just under 3-way saturation. We do have a 4th on the way, but that may just be for larva. I'm curious if we keep droning. That's what I'm curious about. Whether we keep droning up to 66. What is our saturation going to be looking like as Roach production has commenced? We have 13 Roaches on the way. Overseer for a scout. Looks like an Archon drop here from Rodzyn. And I still don't see any more drones, by the way. Yeah, 4 more Overlords. We're going for the all-in. We're going for the all-in. The Queens are moving out across the map. The Roaches move forward as well. Going to be meeting up with the main army. We do catch the Oracles. We get 1, we get 2. 2 Oracles go down, and here comes the all-in. Again, Aristori just cutting workers at 58, making nothing but Roaches, nothing but Queens. The creep is already across the map. The Prism can definitely threaten Aristori. There we go. Ravagers are on the way. And then we can commit. So essentially this is a 3-way all-in. It's actually less than a 3-way all-in, but because we're only using this risk-resting gas geyser, that makes up for it. That makes up for the lower drone count. Here we go. We are pushing. Aristori with the supply lead. Archon's trying to buy some time. These Chargeless are going to have a hard time pushing into this, by the way. The SimCity working against the Zealots. Yeah, Cybercore goes down. The Gateways as well. Ooh, we depower the front line. And again, Rodzyn, how does he push into this? We pile down even the pylon. Shield batteries are getting up and running, thankfully. We do have our shield batteries. Aristori hasn't lost much yet. Nope. That's not quite connecting. We do get an Archon. Almost the Immortal. But only 2 Immortals, by the way. There we go. 3rd Immortal finally does arrive. But there's not much of a buffer. Not anymore. And where's the overcharge? There it is. Overcharge is popped. It gets piled down instantly, by the way. No more overcharge. No more shield batteries. We're running out of energy. We're running out of support. But the juggling has been good. We still have those 3 Immortals. And we're barely holding on. We force back the army. We need more Lings. We need more Roaches. Aristori still rallying across the map. He's still all in, by the way. And Rodzyn, he's holding. He's making 2 Immortals at... Oh, wait. He's went double Robo. He's crazy. He's making 2 Immortals at a time. He's on 4. Soon to be 6. And the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for Rodzyn. Again, the Soup can lie. Immortals, they trade very well here against the Roach Ravager, but that's a lot of Roach Ravager. We take down the Archon. We're going for the Immortals as well. And they need more support. They need something to buffer. Yeah, Immortals on their own, they just can't hold their own here. cannot hold on. Once again, good juggling out of Rodzyn. Ooh, one Immortal goes down. Robots and depower the Biles. They shut down the Immortals. Then it looks like we have done it. GG gets called. We break the natural, and we are forcing the ace match. Whew. GG. Again, the all-in did work out there, did pay off for Aristori. Rodzyn, he had a really hard time making his... I mean, his Immortal production was solid, or his Immortals were doing well for themselves, but the charge lots, they couldn't really do much of anything there. They were kind of getting stuck on each other, they were having a hard time engaging, they were being cleaned up and kited to death as well. So, not the unit of choice to defend against an all-in like that. And with that... Oh, we're going to the ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3. It all ends here. It all ends in our next map on Oceanborn. Let's go. Let us go. And meanwhile, it looks like we don't quite have any other updates yet on Geralt's series. Still mid-series here in the round of 16. But again, we know where we're headed, as Christiana is still lying in wait for whoever comes next. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Polish Protoss player, the Purple Protoss representing Platinum Esports. Being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is Rodzyn. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg Polish player representing Platinum Esports, tying up the series 1-1. It is Aristori. Let's go. Whew. Now again, that's one of the stronger aspects of Crimson Court, is taking that forward base, is going into a roach all-in base off of it as well. But here on Oceanborn, things are a little bit different. The bases, of course, are more standard. The third base is a little bit exposed. You can try to all-in. We've seen many an all-in succeed and fail on Oceanborn. That is an option here for Aristori. Curious how Rodzyn will approach it. Will he approach? But now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard openers all around, which is what we expect to be seeing. You know, if we were casting Snogstar, I'd be talking about like, oh, you know, 13-12s or a pool first or gas first or something wild. But here, Aristori, I mean, clearly he shows us that he can all in, true. But usually it's a little bit later, off of 2 bases or off of 3 bases. Nothing crazy early on. As Rodzyn is setting up, do you see him just getting eyes on the third base, trying to be a nuisance, trying to delay, if at all possible. Looking to delay that third. As for the time being, we are just going to be settling into our own 2-base setup here. Our takeoff choice, once again, a Stargate opener out of Rodzyn. He's going for a Stargate every single game. Now, to be fair, in game 1, he went triple Oracle and he was able to do a lot of damage. In game number 2, he went double Oracle into faster tech instead. So we have seen different variations of this. We'll see which one it's going to be on Oceanborn. I'm expecting triple Oracle. Wait, what? Oh, we're going all in! Oh my god, we're cutting workers, we're pulling the boys, and it's gonna be a Ling Flood Snogstar. Is that you? This I was not expecting out of Aristori, Papi. Oh my god, so Lings are flooding. Ling's speed is still halfway done. The drones are arriving, and the goal here is for the drones to mineral walk past that adept, to get onto the other side, and to bust on through. But the wall, it's not a wall anyway. We bust in regardless, and we get a surround. Oh, the adept is going to be surrounded, it is going to be shut down. Boys are being pulled. We do have a second adept here in the wall, but it does get surrounded once again. We do go for the full wall off here, but the Lings are in, and we're going to be depowering the gateways. The pylon goes down, the gateways are depowered, we break the natural, warp gate is not done, and now we're going for the kill, we're going for the main. There is an Oracle, but Link speed kicks in. Ling speed does kick in. We do have a shield battery on the way, and oh god, the Lings are going to be cleaned up, but they're getting a lot done. Oh my god. 9 probes go down. And we have more Lings flooding into the natural as well. The Oracle's about to run out of energy. And we're going back for the main. We're diving back in. We have the shield battery. We get surrounded. The shield battery is going to be going down. And with that, it looks like Aristori, he has done it. He has annihilated the mineral line. He's taken control of the main base. We're down to 22 workers. Still a good probe count, to be fair. But we can always just pull back and kill the natural. Like, we can pick and choose what we want at this point. As we get more probes in that main base. A lot of these things are going to be going down. And behind this, we're droning. Behind this, Aristori, he's happily droning. He's getting another base. We're working towards our queens. Now, the natural is still up and running, to be fair, and we can still repower our production on the low ground. And there it is. Pylon is on the way. Can Rodzyn recover from here? It's going to be difficult. The problem is that if Rodzyn moves out with these 2 units, then a Ling Flood can always come back in. So the threat of a Ling Flood is always going to be in the back of Rodzyn's mind, so it's going to be risky to move out. So he's stuck at home. And that means that Aristori, he's free to drone up, make queens, get spores more importantly, to make sure that we're safe against the Oracle, and get ahead. As I say that, Aristori is going to be supply blocked, and he's actually not far ahead in workers at all. He's got 35 to the 29 probes of Rodzyn. Rodzyn can recover. We dealt damage, but we did not kill Rodzyn, and yeah, we might be able to make a game out of this, actually. Solid might on that one. Like, the tech is quite late. Like, we're just now finishing up the Warp Gate, of course. No Third, no Twilight Council, no Forge. We'll see if we can get something done here. So we are going for the hatchery. We have plenty of queens. Plenty of queens to defend. Hatchery will survive. Lair is on the way. We're up to 39 workers. Again, our drone count is still a little bit lackluster for Aristori, but now we're building up. Rodzyn, meanwhile, going for his own 3rd. And honestly, we're pretty neck and neck. I feel like we've stabilized. Yeah, we're good. Like, Rodzyn will eventually work towards his Twilight Council and Forge, but I mean, that feels pretty on par with what Aristori is doing. As I say that, there is a Ling counterattack, but we have another Oracle. We have Adepts as well. Rodzyn will hold. Hydrogen's on the way. Now, this could be for a 3-base Ling Hydra Rush. We have options. We could just drone and focus on upgrades, or we can just mass up Hydras and go for an attack. I'm not sure how I feel about a Ling Hydra all-in, though. Like, Aristori's cutting workers at 51. Yep, we're going for the all-in. Hydras are massing. Hydra speed is on the way. We'll see how this works out. As we don't quite catch a queen. Ooh, the Oracle's taking a lot of hits. Take a lot of damage. Let's say shade in towards that natural. Drones are going down, but we clean up the Adepts, and these Oracles, they did take a beating. And the all-in is coming. Like, we're amassing a lot of Ling Hydra. And we're getting ready for the all-in. The Oracles are low. We just threw away some Adepts. We're throwing down a wall of shield batteries, cannons as well. Oh god, I mean, this is all that Rodzyn can really do. He doesn't really have the production to really mass up anything else. We'll see if he can hold.
I am here.
Can Rodzyn survive this? As yeah, the Ling Hydra is ready to move out. We're pushing. Oh, we do have a field of stasis trap. Okay, there's a world. I believe. With all these stasis, if we can get the most perfect stasis traps available, if we can make use of the shield batteries, the overcharge, we can take this. Good initial stasis. Speaking of, we do connect with a good chunk of Hydras as well. We cut the Hydra count in half. So far, so good. Yeah, Hydras are falling, by the way. Oracles dive in. We pop the overcharge. Oh, but the Oracles are out of range. Yeah, and the Oracles are going down. Put a good initial hold. And we have more stasis. At the same time, Lings, they flood into the mineral line. And we collapse here on the Void Ray, on the Stalkers. Another stasis pops off. The Lings, they get 12 probes at the natural. Ay, ay, ay. We bust down that Cyber Core. Hydras, yeah, just started stepping into that natural as well. Hydras are going down. These are expensive losses. We did get 15 probes. But it looks like we will clean this up. Yeah, Aristori is running out of steam. We try to come in from behind. Do try to, but honestly, really good movement here out of Rodzyn. He pulls back, catches more Hydras. Good blinks here from our Protoss player. But we're getting 21 workers, 22. They get really meticulous control out of Aristori to just squeeze out as much value as he can of these Hydras. Pushing into the main base. Will be cleaned up. Rodzyn, he's on 43 probes against the 48 workers of Aristori. Rodzyn, honestly, once again, he holds and he's not in a bad position. He's got blink, he's got +1. Charge is on the way. He's okay. Meanwhile, Aristori joining up to 56, taking a 4th base, and now working on the rest of his upgrades. Okay, we're working towards a longer game. We're calming things down. Working towards a longer game. We don't have any splash damage yet for Rodzyn. I would love to see a Templar Archives and Storm, but or even a Bay and Colossus production. There it is. Templar Archives is on the way. Oh, the Stalker's getting caught out. Did we overextend? It looks like we have. Yeah, good stutter stepping here from Aristori. Gets the Stalker. Stalker is gonna fall. You know, Rodzyn still pulling back. Does preserve most of his Stalkers at least. 4th base on the way. Joining up. Storm in production. There we go. For Rodzyn. And Storm will help quite a bit here. But we need time. We need time to build up towards that Storm. Once again, Rodzyn pushing deep on creep. This is crazy. Calm down. But he knows he has to get something done here. As Aristori has grown up to 74, he's got a solid economy. Taking his gases, committing here to Ling Hydra. If we wanted to, we could take up towards an infestation bit and a hive and lurker tech. We could just secure ourselves, but I think Aristori wants to end the game sooner if at all possible. I don't think he wants to settle into lurker production. So he's just massing more Ling Hydra. Bailey Nest about to, well, Bailey Nest now done. Bailey Speed now finishing up. There's a lot of High Templar. This is still up in the air. Like, the soup is in favor of Aristori. True. Like, we have the supply on our side. But Storm. This is potentially 5 Storms, by the way. That's going to be quite a lot to work with. Like, against Ling Hydra, this army melts. All it takes is, like, 3 good Storms, and this army will crumble. But we'll see. Bearing in mind that Aristori, he has split up his forces. He's got a solid high Ling Hydra count on the left, another on the right. Here we go. There is a High Templar to defend. Do we have a Storm? We do. Ooh, but Lings, they bust in. The Storm was a little bit too late. Storm was a bit too late, and we're pulling the army apart. Numbers are on Aristori's side. He will break this board. And Ling Hydra, we do outposition Rodzyn. We bust into the main base. And Rodzyn is being pulled apart. Again, he has a lot of Storms, but the base falls. Yeah, the Storms are too little too late. We got a High Templar. We got 1. We almost get a 2nd. 14 probes go down. Aristori once again splitting up his army. Collapsing on the High Templar. Yeah, with the Leagues AG on top of the High Templar, so many of them go down, and that's going to be the final storm here for Rodzyn. GG gets called, and Aristori will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. Whew, GG. GG, well played. A wild game there. Remember, it all started with a Ling Flood drone pool, by the way. With Lings, with drones, like, we popped off at the start of the game. We were not able to kill Rodzyn. Rodzyn did stabilize on 3 bases, working towards Storm, but in the end, he was brought down. Whew. And with that, we're getting ready for our semi-finals. Never mind, we're not quite there yet. We are headed for the quarterfinals. There's one more quarterfinals match to go over. It's going to be Snogstar versus Geralt. I was not quite ready for this. Okay.